Hi there. Hi again. So this is the video that I was planning to make about regarding free speech and hate speech and the connection between the two of them. Um, as I'm using this tool, I did this before. I did a video before, which is again like 10 minutes long, but it couldn't quite process it, so I'm going to repeat myself now in this one. So, free speech and hate speech. So hopefully I have perhaps illustrated how I discovered freedom for myself, and how I came to understand the philosophy of freedom and my own idea about the philosophy of freedom. Hopefully I've illustrated that well enough in the previous videos in case you watched it. Now, regarding free speech and hate speech. So the question really is, that people often might think of is, well, is hate speech free speech? Can hate speech be permitted? So we necessarily come to a point where we've got to question ourselves, well, what is hate speech? Now, there are obviously varying interpretations of what hate speech would be like. Obviously, there are certain forms of speech which can be discriminatory in nature, and which can be the words that are spoken can be uttered with malice, which is with a malicious intent. So you're pretty sure that the words are pretty vile, and the content that's being and the intentions are malicious as well. That being said, the question is, can such speech be permitted? Well, yes, it can. And the reason that I'm going to tell you why, because what I'm trying to argue is that free speech without hate speech is no free speech at all. I mean, free speech will become non-existent if hate speech isn't a part of it. This all comes back to the basic root philosophy which I discovered, which I will repeat myself now, which is people are free to do everything as long as it pertains to themselves or their own property. As I've repeated that so many times now. So even with speech, yes, these are my vocal cords that you can see over here. Stuff. I'm born with it, and I have an inherent God-given right to use it however I feel is fitting. So I can use this however I like. So how does speech function, basically? So when we think about that, just fix this stuff. Okay, so how does speech function, basically? So when we think about that, obviously, this probably shouldn't need to be illustrated much in detail. I speak, I've got vocal cords which are shaking around, and sound waves are traveling, they hit your ears, you process something in your mind, you get a reaction within yourself, and then you choose how to react to the feelings that you're getting, and then you repeat something else, or you do something, or you do a reaction to the speech that is being spoken. So that's how speech functions, basically. I speak, the sound waves hit your ears, get something, it starts formulating something in your mind. You get instinctive feelings or desires with regards to what I've spoken. You get instinctive, a certain kind of emotion comes up within you, and then you choose to react to those emotions. So why can content, which is often said to be hateful, is also said to be it can incite violence? They're saying that certain forms of speech can incite violence. Why should it not be permitted? Is something most country laws often say. You can't say stuff that disturb public peace or incite violence or something like that. Well, what I'm trying to argue is that yes, it is possible that certain speech can provoke a person, that certain forms of speech can make people very emotional, because words are powerful, no doubt. But what I'm saying is that people are always within reasonable control of their reactions whenever a word is being spoken. They have the power to have reasonable control over themselves. All of this goes down to something called causation. So what is causation? Causation is pretty simple. Well, I do something. Is the result because of what I did? If the result that you're seeing is because of what I did, I am the one who caused it. Now, what these laws ultimately do, these laws which say that, oh, you can't disturb public order, you can't say stuff which disturbs public peace or public order or incites violence, what they're basically saying is that just uttering a word in itself causes the person to react a certain way. Thus, what they're saying is they're denying the existence and the fact that people have reasonable control over their actions. People have reasonable control, they have the power to have reasonable control over themselves regardless of whatever is spoken. Well, the fact of the matter is people do have reasonable control over themselves regardless of whatever is being spoken. Yes, certain forms of speech can evoke certain emotions in us. It can provoke us to become violent at times as such. It can even provoke us to have the government try and suppress the person or suppress the individual or something like that. But in the end of the day, we are within reasonable control of choosing not to go down the path of tyranny. Suppose I'm a stone worshipper, okay, and I think God resides in certain forms of stones. I do that. If somebody criticizes that, and if I hold on to these falsehoods and these false notions, and somebody says something, which somebody mocks that, obviously I am going to have, because I've got that ego in me, which is like, no, divinity resides inside these idols and inside these stones. Of course, it's my ego is not going to permit me. It's going to evoke a pretty strong reaction in me, wherein I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to feel like, I don't know, trying to suppress that person, obviously. But in the end of the day, people are within reasonable control of themselves to not crush upon the rights of others, to not crush upon the liberties of others, and to not crush upon their God-given right to say whatever they like. Because people have the goodwill and are within reasonable control to always act in a manner that is within their own space of freedom, which is anything that pertains to them or their property. They always have the power to be in reasonable control of acting within this boundary. They always have the power to act within this boundary. That is how we are. All living organisms, all souls are hardwired. It's an inseparable part of us to always have the power in us to act within our own space of freedom. Because if humans did not have the capacity to act within their own space of freedom, this instinctive desire to be free in itself might not even arise. Because if we cannot act within our own boundaries of freedom, well, yeah, I mean, some of it is so, it's just a kind of a feeling and an instinct. It's very hard to put into words and to add too much layers of logic in it unless I pot it out. Whatever I've gathered so far over years of contemplation, or whatever the point of life that I've come to this far, and whatever notions I've built is something that I'm trying to share. So that's the basic point. People have the right to say whatever they like. Just because a person says it and it makes you feel like doing something doesn't mean it caused you to do it, because you're always within reasonable control of trying to stop it and always to respect that person's right to say what they wish and to not become violent, to not suppress them. So that's what I believe. Freedom of speech is absolute. People have the right to say everything they like. They're entitled to that opinion. There are certain forms of things, of course, which can be like, of course, as I said, it does come down to causation. So suppose I'm saying something that is vile, and that's something a person may deem to be hate speech, and something that another person, the person I'm telling it to, would think, hey, this person doesn't have the right to say that. But suppose I'm this close to that other person and I'm yelling in his ears. Well, you know what? I can be prosecuted for an offense, for a felony. But what would be that felony? The felony would not be that I'm actually saying something that he doesn't want to hear, or something that he feels is hate speech, or something that I don't have a right to say, because I have the inherent God-given right to say whatever I like. The person has the right to choose whatever he wants to do within his boundaries, which is, he can choose to reply to me, or he can choose to ignore me. It's as simple as that. He can choose to reply or ignore. He has no right to physically assault me or use the state or the government to try and suppress me. But if I do that, I can still be prosecuted for a felony, and that felony would be disturbing the right of that person to have a peaceful environment. Here, the word peaceful environment, I literally mean the fact that I don't have the right to blow his eardrums off by yelling in front of the ears. Why? Causation. I am literally causing ear damage to the guy, and he has no reasonable control over stopping his ears from being damaged if I'm going to scream in his ears. He's got no reasonable control. It all comes down to reasonable control. The word reasonable is very important. When I'm going to scream in front of his ears, he's got no reasonable control over preventing damage to his ears, which is why I would be held accountable. Because in the end of the day, we want to have a society wherein the responsibility for a certain action is put on the person who did the action. We all want to have a society where if one person acts a certain way, the responsibility for that action falls on that person. Similarly, if I want to do whatever I'd love to do in my life, I want the result of that to be a result of my own actions. You see, I don't want to have a form of life in which I'm not able to do what I love, and what happens to me is determined by somebody else doing something to me which I have no reasonable control over. I know I'm just pretty much lengthening this up quite a bit. It's getting a bit complicated, but I hope you're really getting the point. So yeah, it's about causation. With words, I'm within reasonable control. With screaming in front of his ears, he has no control over preventing damage to his ears. Same thing with physical assault. If somebody chooses to get a chainsaw and cut my arm off or something, I'm within no reasonable control of preventing my arm from being cut off. So that person would be held accountable for stepping on my rights, because I have the right. This is my stuff, my arm. I have the right to do whatever with it. And the fact that he chose to determine what happens to me and to my arm, he chose to determine what happens to me and my arm, something that belongs to me, is why he should be prosecuted. And there should be justice served when he gets a punishment, which creates a deterrent in future for people to act this way. Because this is my arm, I can do whatever I like with it. He had no right to choose what happens to my arm. The fact that he chose to do it is what is wrong. So that is pretty much what I've tried to say about the difference with free speech and hate speech. And now I'm not sure if you're following the case of Michelle Carter, which can be a good example. So basically, Michelle Carter, this is going on in the US at the moment. So Michelle Carter is a girl who lives in the province of Massachusetts in the United States. And so basically, she's in a currently Massachusetts Supreme Court ruling, in the Massachusetts court ruling, the judge sentenced her to prison because she texted to her boyfriend or something, yeah, you should go suicide. And because the boyfriend suicided, she's being held accountable for him, for his suicide. So she's basically, what the judge has basically done over here is saying that because Michelle Carter texted to her boyfriend, hey, suicide, and the fact that he did it, she has literally killed him. Just by telling him to kill himself is the same as killing that person. That's basically what this does. Now, when you think about that, just telling a person to kill themselves is the same, and if that person does it, who's responsible for it? Is it Michelle Carter, or is it the boy who committed suicide, Conrad Roy? Is it him? The fact is that he was within reasonable control of his own actions. Yes, his words, when he was down, he was depressed, and when his girlfriend was telling him to go suicide, yeah, it might get the feeling in his mind to be like, hey, I'm feeling so down, I should probably actually suicide. But he was always within reasonable control of choosing what to do with himself. regardless of what the words are being spoken. He had the choice to do what he wanted to do with his own body. So, given that was the case, yeah, so she's currently being sentenced. She's been charged already. The judge has pronounced his ruling. I hope they take it up, which I think they will, and hopefully the U.S. Supreme Court overturns this decision, because it's absolute nonsense and bullcrap. Such a ruling. And hopefully the U.S. Supreme Court will overturn it. So that's about it. And as I say, like, in the world at the moment, if there's only one nation where I can think of where the philosophy of liberty and freedom is really sunk into the populace, and they understand it and they hold dear to it, it's the United States. And sadly, due to the mass immigration of illiberal and also the general prevalence of illiberalism out there, is the United States is starting to crack, it's starting to fall. Rules like these, the First Amendment, as with this ruling, is starting to come under scrutiny and danger. I personally would wish for everybody in the world to just understand why liberty is important, why liberty is essential and is a prerequisite for living happy, prosperous life. Not for me, not for anybody else, but for themselves. And if they'd be happy if they get that, and I'd be happy because they'd be happy. That's just how the human soul is. It seeks happiness for itself and for everybody else. So I wish the whole world would understand this, but I just hope I can be part of. I just hope we as Indians can pick up the tab, understand liberty, create and establish the rule of the free, and I would hope for the whole world to do it, but I'm doing my own bit, and hopefully we can pick up the tab and at least establish freedom for ourselves. And in the end of the day, I want freedom for myself, so I'm getting involved in doing what I can. I wish you could do all that you feel is good enough for you and within your own capacity. Well, that's about it, what I wanted to talk about. Thanks a lot for listening. Take care.